All right, so now we know why you get a number. Let's get into the technical details of exactly how to get a number. The most important part is just ask. Okay, when I first started out in game, I did exactly two things right. I would walk up and talk to every attractive girl I saw, and every single time at the end of the interaction, I would say, "It was nice talking to you, what's your number?" That phrase became a habit for me. If I walked up and she's like, "Oh, I don't have time to talk," I'd be like, "Oh, well, that's okay, it was nice talking to you, what's your number?" I literally would close off of that. I closed every single time. I didn't consider it an interaction unless I had asked for a number. All right, so that's the first and foremost thing to getting numbers, is you must ask pretty much always. Right? Any set where there's any kind of realistic chance at all you might possibly get a number, you should be asking. All right? But let's talk a little bit about how to make that number solid and the procedure you should actually follow when getting numbers. First and maybe most important part is this. When you exchange numbers, get your number in her phone with a name attached to it. Super, super, super critical. Because what you don't want is later on, a few days or a week or whatever, when you're texting back and forth, probably it should be a few days, and we'll talk about that as well in a later section. But you don't want to text and you get the text back, "Who is this?" That's not what you want to receive. Or if you call and she goes, "Who is this?" Or even worse, she just screens your call and doesn't pick up because it's an unknown number. All right, that's what you want to avoid. So get your number in her phone. There are a variety of ways to do this. One way is take her phone, save yourself as a contact, and then text yourself from her phone. That's one very, very good way. Another way is to text her your name and then tell her to save it, that sort of thing. At the very least, even if you don't tell her to save it, at least text her something with your name, ideally maybe your name and some way to remember you, something like that, so that she has your number in her phone. Now, I don't believe in getting too super cute with this or trying to send the world's most brilliant message, only because you should have done a good enough job in the initial interaction that she's looking forward to hearing from you, and she'll know who you are, at least within 5 to 10 minutes or an hour of when you actually talk to her. All right, so you want to get that message through to her with your name on it, whether it's saving it in her phone or sending a message with your name, however it is, get your number and name in her phone. That is super, super, super critical. All right, next, try and stay 5 minutes or so beyond the time you get the phone number if possible. Now, this may not always be possible. A lot of times the reason you're taking a phone number at all is because the interaction had to end, like she was running off somewhere or friends pulled her away or whatever it is. And so you don't have the luxury of having that 5-minute conversation after. But if you can, do so. Because everything that you've done prior to getting her number is a conversation you had as strangers. Everything you do after getting her number is a conversation you now have as friends and as people who have agreed that maybe they want to hang out. And so there will be a lot more depth in that interaction. And the time that she spends talking to you under that premise is going to really build comfort and is really going to cement in her mind the idea that you're people who like each other, people who are going to hang out, people that have a future together. So those 5 minutes after the number are hyper, hyper critical. In fact, most of comfort is built over time, but I would almost prefer 5 minutes after maybe a quick 2-minute number than having half an hour to get the number and then having to rush off right afterwards. That 5 minutes post number is so, so, so critical to avoiding flaking. So if you can, stay a few minutes, just have conversation, have normal chit chat, whatever. It doesn't have to be super sexual. In fact, even trying to get sexual might be a bad idea at that point because you're not going to have sex with her right then and there. But do spend that time after the number just talking to her, just interacting, making it more normal. Next, and we talked about this earlier, qualify the girl. It is so, so, so important that she feels like she earned your respect and your admiration and you taking her phone number as opposed to it was an objective for you, okay? So do what you can to try and make her jump through your hoops. A good exercise, and we actually will probably do this in one of the exercises sections of this course, is to make a list of 5 non-physical qualities you would like in a girl, and then when you're talking to the girl, actually evaluate her on those qualities. Is she smart? Is she ambitious? Does she go to the gym? Does she work out? Does she take care of herself? Does she do her makeup well and present a good appearance to the world? Or is she chill and relax? Does she have a good sense of humor? Whatever your particular values are, whatever it is you want in a girl, you should be screening for that. You should be looking for those characteristics. Even, by the way, if you're looking for a one-night stand, and this is off the topic of numbers, but even if you're looking for a one-night stand, you should be screening for things that are likely for that or that are good for a one-night stand. So if I'm screening for that, I'd be screening for, are you adventurous? Are you sexually open and enjoying new experiences? Are you uptight? That kind of stuff. Whatever the type of relationship you want, you should be screening in some way. And especially if you're going to be doing phone number follow-up and having to make it solid, screening and qualifying and making her prove herself to you in some way, super, super, super critical. Also, remember it conveys all those attractive qualities, abundance, selectivity, all those things that an alpha male would have. So that actually increases your value as well at the same time. The next thing that is critically important in getting a phone number that's actually going to follow through and make plans with you is that you have plausible plans at the time of getting the phone number. So for example, if you've already talked to the girl and said, you know what, it'd be fun to grab a drink with you, and she says yes, and then you say, okay, let's do numbers, that's a more solid number than just if out of nowhere you say, hey, what's your number, and then you never discuss any kind of plans in the rest of the interaction, okay? So if there's an understanding that you want to get together, and that's the reason you're getting the number, that's better than if you just got the number without that. In fact, the ideal reason and the ideal way to get a phone number is this. You and she really desperately want to hang out, but there's something in the world that's just keeping you apart. Like she has to get to her job, or like her friend's dying in the hospital, or you're rushing off to something and can't spend time with her right then and there. And the idea is you and she have kind of decided and agreed you really like each other, you'd like to hang out as soon as possible, and there's some urgency behind it, right? There's a specific idea, a specific plan, and some urgency. When that's the case, that's going to be a very solid number. When any of that's not in place, it's going to be less solid. So you want to make sure that that's the case. Again, the key premise, and we've talked about this many times, but I'm going to reiterate it, is you don't want the 10 digits, you want the invested girl that has given you the 10 digits. Next, let's get to the specifics of exactly how to ask for the number. And the key thing here is be assumptive. Act like you expect to hear yes. Okay, a lot of guys, they say, can I have your phone number? That is a yes or no question that has a very easy no answer. It also is putting you in the frame that her phone number is this gift that she's bestowing on you and you'd be lucky to get it. It's a terrible, terrible phrase, but guys say it all the time. Every time I hear it, I cringe. I'm like, can I have your phone number? I'm like, oh God, no, I didn't want to hear that, okay? Better, what's your phone number? What's your phone number, right? It's assumptive. What's your phone number is not a yes or no question. You can't go, what's your phone number? She goes, no. It doesn't even make sense as part of English speech, right? Now she can object to it, but you've made it harder for her to object than not to. You've made it easier for her to give the number, and that's what you want to set up. It also is conveying all the right things, which is that you're confident, you assume you're going to get it. It's just a natural part of the interaction and not some gift she's bestowing on you. So, so, so critical. Like I said, that was my catchphrase back in the day. It was nice talking to you, what's your number? It was nice talking to you, what's your number? It was such a habit, okay? But regardless, however you do it, make sure that it is assumptive in nature. Okay, very, very critical. It makes a big difference. Lastly, before you go for the number, in order to make it work well, number one, you want to have a decent interaction beforehand. So if I just walk up to a girl, I say, hi, I'm Todd, you seem cute, and she goes, hi, I'm Mary or Ashley, whatever her name is, and I go, cool, what's your number? There's not a lot behind that. I'm kind of opening with a close, and I'm just trusting that based on my physical appearance and the nonverbals of my first impression, she likes me enough to get a number. Rather, I should put in some time and let her get to know me, and then the more time she spends getting to know me, the more the interaction is good, the more solid the number is, and actually the more likely she is to give me a number in the first place. And there's a way to kind of gauge this, and that's called the soft close. So if you think that you've had a decent interaction, you think that you're at a place where you maybe could start closing for the number, what you would do is instead of just dropping in the what's your number, you might say, you know what, you seem like a really cool person, and see how she reacts. If she goes, you seem really cool also, probably she'll give you a number, right? At which point you'd say, you know what, it's too bad that we only have a couple minutes to talk. It'd be really cool if we could hang out some other time because I actually really enjoy the banter. And she'll be like, yeah, that's cool. And then you go, okay, cool, what's your number? Okay, cool, that sounds really cool. I guess we should exchange numbers. Does that make sense? So there's actually a logical reason why. And also because she's agreed to the things on the way to the number, it would make it very awkward for her not to do the number. So if you already agreed you like each other, you already agreed that it might be fun to hang out sometime, then it only makes sense to do the number. Whereas if you drop the number in out of nowhere, she's very likely to say no, right? And the interesting thing is, going back to like the theory of like social capital, whenever you ask for something and hear no, it's going to get more and more difficult to get that thing to happen later. But whenever you're asking things and hearing yes along the way, it makes everything easier to hear yes to. So you're better off hearing yeses to a few small things along the way, and then asking for what you actually want, than you are trying directly for it, hearing no, and then making it a massive uphill battle to get there. So that's the idea of the soft close. All right? So that's some general ideas on how to get the number, but I want to reiterate to you the most important part, which is this. You should be, at the minimum, asking for a number in every single interaction that goes well, at all. If it's a 2-minute interaction, 5-minute interaction, anything beyond just exchange of names and she leaves, or she's blatantly bitchy to you, anything that's at all positive, you should be finishing it with, it was nice talking to you, what's your number? Or some other number close. You must be closing.